All right, I think that's the K1 matches done for the evening.
And we move on to our amateur MMA.
Amateur K1. Now it's time to move into amateur mixed martial arts. Allow me to introduce first of all to the blue corner, Charlotte Brown.
Charlotte Brown making her way to the cage. 0-1 record from SBG Manchester. Straight Blast Gym, it's got a fantastic pedigree. Formerly under the now deceased coach and BJJ black belt Carl Tanswell. The gym is also home to names such as Saul Rogers and Matt Inman, both well-known names in the UK MMA scene. This fight will be taking place at 57 kilograms. Charlotte Brown with 1 loss on her record against the newcomer Katie Forbes of Red Kite MMA.
My understanding is that Charlotte Brown has lots of prior kickboxing experience. Her 1 loss comes from an opponent with much more experience than her in MMA. Her previous opponent had 8 fights. So Charlotte Brown is not afraid to get in the ring and see what she can do. She's not afraid of challenges.
Yeah, that previous, Katie Forbes of Red Kite MMA, this is her first fight obviously. Charlotte Brown, her 1 fight in amateur MMA so far was to Danny Naylan, who had 8 fights experience on her, so you can imagine that was a huge mismatch there in terms of cage time. During the fight, she didn't give up, she showed really good heart, unfortunately lost the decision, but just was outclassed on the ground effectively. Training at SBG Mainline, they've got fantastic BJJ pedigree there, so hopefully that'll be something she'll look to counter and be entering into this match with much improved grappling.
And that's the thing, right? Experience matters. We've seen it tonight. Experience gives you a certain edge. You learn from fighting. It'd be interesting to see what Charlotte can do against someone more equal and with the same level of experience.
And next, allow me to introduce her opponent into the red corner, Katie Forbes.
Katie Forbes of Red Kite MMA.
This is her debut, right?
Indeed, yeah.
Debut tonight.
Red Kite is primarily a Thai gym, so we can expect some high-level kickboxing from Katie.
This is amateur MMA. So are they allowed to throw elbows on this? Elbows
no,
on knees?
no elbows.
No elbows on these. Okay.
I believe this is Baby Metal she's walking out to. It's a heavy metal band fronted by, I think, 5 Japanese schoolgirls or something.
Seems to be some kind of issue with Katie Forbes entering the ring. They've asked her, I think, to pull up her leggings.
Okay. There seems to be an issue with the short length of Katie Forbes. We've got Paul Crosley just conferring with the coaches. There seems to be an issue there. We may be slightly delayed getting this fight going.
Meanwhile, Charlotte Brown's looking cool, calm and collected in the cage.
And her coach is actually cutting off the bottom of her shorts with a pair of scissors before she steps into the cage. This is something I've not really seen before. It's definitely an unorthodox way, but
I mean, this is something that should have been resolved before.
Yeah, and bear in mind, Red Kite has only just started preparing fighters for MMA. I mean, they're a well-established Thai gym, but as far as I'm aware, this might be the first MMA event they've actually ever dispatched fighters to. I don't know if they're going to be okay with this, just this kind of butchery of the shorts. It's kind of it's going to give her a bit of a wild kind of jungle look, I guess, if anything.
I like it. It's a unique look. All right, they're just sorting out the shorts now. They're cutting the bottoms of the leggings off.
Yeah, they're a bit less massive now.
And we'll be able to
Okay,
get...
and now we have these
we can look forward to this fight getting started.
improvised short shorts.
All right, Katie Forbes now about to enter the cage.
Well, that was a somewhat awkward entrance to your debut MMA fight.
Well, it happens.
It happens, yeah. It's going to be a funny story tomorrow.
Charlotte Brown the whole time looking relaxed.
Evolution of Combat presents 3-minute rounds of amateur mixed martial arts in the 57-kilogram weight division. Introducing first, in the blue corner, with a record of no wins and 1 defeat, representing FCPC, Charlotte Brown! Across the cage, in the red corner, her opponent, representing Gambit MMA, making her debut in the cage, Katie Forbes! Our referee in charge of the action, Mr. Neil Hall.
All right, Neil Hall, our third man in the cage.
Got another tale of 2 relatively inexperienced novices to the amateur MMA scene, both looking to make a name for themselves.
Both looking to pick up their first win tonight.
Yeah, you've got to imagine Charlotte Brown will be going for this, knowing that she's already got a loss. She doesn't want to slip down any further.
Charlotte Brown, taking the center of the cage.
Oh,
Katie.
Wild swinging.
Katie Forbes landing some heavy shots. Lands a nice right.
Clinch against the
body
cage.
shot.
No one seems to be looking to pressure the other one against the cage. They're both kind of almost neutral on the cage there.
You said Red Kite was a Muay Thai gym, right?
Yep.
She's got that nice Muay Thai plump.
Yep, we're seeing those knees. Charlotte just manages
Charlotte looking to
take the dominant position.
drop down, take those legs.
She could be looking to drop down to go for a single here. Katie's
Katie
got
has
the underhook though, yeah.
She's keeping her up with the underhook, and she's got the
Double
double
unders.
underhooks now.
Katie wants to look to start turning this around. She needs to be a bit wider with that stance as well. She's still slightly vulnerable to that. Yeah.
There's a guillotine attempt, I believe. I don't think it's
not,
likely
she's
to.
not getting it from there.
Not quite sure.
Pulling. Oh, she can take the back here. She can take the back.
Got one hook in.
One hook in. But
she doesn't yet. She needs to control that. Oh, going for a throw.
She can hold on the back here and get the second hook in.
She's got the back. She's got both hooks
on the back,
in.
yeah. Both hooks in. Charlotte manages to escape one.
That was an interesting technique there.
That was a
very
strange.
She went from defending the takedown. She went from defending the takedown to having those double underhooks to somehow slip around the back and got both hooks in now.
Taking the back while both her arms are on one side. I mean, she could have turned that into a Kimura grip potentially, but
I believe Charlotte was trying to throw her off then, but instead, as she, with a big tried to launch her off.
Trying to lop her off the front.
But Katie did a great job. She stayed on that back, and now here she is.
And it's very hard to see what's going on under there. She's still. Both hooks in. She's not managed to connect the seatbelt grip yet.
I think Katie's a little bit too high.
Yeah, she's looking very high now. I think she's in danger of falling off the front.
Charlotte's doing a good job. She's trying to get those hooks out. She's trying to find a way to kick those hooks out. She's defending the hands. It's very hard to get the rear naked choke with these gloves on as well. I believe these are slightly bigger gloves than your standard MMA.
She's wearing the large amateur MMA gloves.
And it's very difficult.
And
but one thing
Charlotte Brown has put herself in a worse position here by turning. She should have been trying to elevate her hips there and possibly try and shake Katie off the front. But in turning like this,
she is trying to get her back to the mat, which is a good thing to do. She's working her back to the mat here. But Katie Forbes is hanging on to that.
She's giving Katie the chance to basically reinstate that back control position.
Now, in BJJ, when you put your back to the mat, it's fine. But in MMA, Katie might have the opportunity to turn it into a mount position. But I think we're going to run out of time here.
I think we're going to end with this round going quite handily to Katie Forbes, who spent most of the round on the back of Charlotte Brown.
There wasn't a great deal that happened in that match. We saw kind of a weird back attempt. Charlotte tried to shrug her off and ended up on the mat with Katie on her back. And then the rest of the fight was basically Charlotte trying to get her off her back. And Katie doing a good job holding on, keeping her busy defending the neck.
I was very surprised by that result. I mean, we've seen in a previous fight, Charlotte Brown, despite being an experienced striker, was quite handily out-grappled in her first outing. And this time against a debut fighter, you wouldn't have expected someone to have that kind of level of grappling, especially someone who's coming out of Red Kite, where they're essentially just a Thai gym who developed MMA
I mean,
very
we did
recently.
see Katie working that nice Thai plum at the beginning of that match, and that's maybe what made Charlotte want to transition to that takedown, where she felt those plum, the grip around her neck. Because that is, if someone's holding you but with the Thai plum, the legs are close, especially when the cage is behind them, and they can't put their hips back.
Both fighters preparing for a second round.
Both
and Neil Hall sets us off. Charlotte stalks forward.
Again, Charlotte taking the centre. Lands a nice leg kick.
Good knee there from Katie.
By Katie. Some heel kicks.
Well,
this time Charlotte really wants that takedown.
Lands the takedown.
Katie looks like she's trying to attack a guillotine. I don't think she has the head caught. She doesn't.
She doesn't.
Good job by Charlotte to push the bicep there. She pushed the bicep and took her head out. Charlotte looking to posture up. Charlotte's getting distant.
Oh, some ground and pound there from Charlotte Brown in the full guard of Katie Forbes.
Excellent job by Katie using the feet to push her away, but Charlotte's all over her.
Oh.
Charlotte passes the guard into side mount.
After a scramble, ends up in the side control of Charlotte Brown. Framing up with a forearm, Katie Forbes.
Looks like she's getting to knee on belly.
Manages to get the forearm into the throat of Charlotte Brown.
Katie needs to keep her structures in place. Charlotte's has crushed one of her structures. It looks like Charlotte might be going for an arm triangle. She's looking to transition to the other side.
She needs to keep passing over to the other side.
She's got the mount.
She's got it locked up.
She could get it from here.
She needs to move. She needs to keep moving. She can't just stay there in the mount.
Don't forget, in this position, she can land punches. There's punches to the ribs, punches to the body. She can posture up and mount and just start unleashing.
She's lost the lock of that potential arm triangle there, though.
Yeah, I don't. Now she's transitioning.
Now she moves
now
over.
There's a chance.
And now we have
she needs to sink her chest downwards and away.
Rotating around.
The cage might be in the way here. There's the
tap, and we have the tap.
That looked to me like Charlotte had a bad first round and decided, I need to bring the pressure. I need to take control of this. And that was just pressure the entire round. Yeah,
she could have got that. Charlotte could have got that arm triangle a lot earlier than she did.
But then again, it's only her second fight. She didn't want to risk anything. Maybe she wanted to make sure she had a secure position before she thought about whether she wants to let go and posture up in the ground and pound from the mount, or like she did, step over and take the choke.
Yeah, and we all know how difficult it is sometimes. Even positions which on paper are meant to be extremely dominant, such as the full mount, you can very easily find yourself thrown off by a sudden hip movement of an erratic opponent.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, and she was safe, and she got the tap in the end.
Yeah,
that was a lovely. I like that story of that fight. In the first round, she had a little trouble. She found herself in a weird situation, and she adapted and comes back and takes control in the second round.
We go to Lance Murdoch for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, our referee, Mr. Neil Hall, stopped the action at 1 minute and 32 seconds of the second round. And the winner, by way of arm triangle, in the blue corner, Charlotte Brown!
Charlotte Brown advances to 1-1.
Another great match for the evening. Really enjoyable, some good skills on display there. Interesting techniques. As I say, it's not often you see a back take like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fight I was definitely expecting to be a striking war. From what I know about both of these young ladies and their gyms, I was expecting more of a sort of Thai fight than what we got, which was basically dictated by the grappling skills of each of these opponents.